Folks, it's one of the biggest weeks of the year. It's a major week. We are here. We are live. We are at Quail Hollow. We have great guests on this show. We have major winner Wyndham Clark. We have superstar Max Homa. And we have a great friend of the program and media, golf media mogul these days. Colt Knost is on the show. It's all brought to you by our awesome friends at Chevrolet, athletic, bold, commanding. We're here to talk about the Chevy Equinox EV, which helps you show up in style. If it's distance you're after, there's a bug walking across my screen right now. Equinox EV offers 319 miles of EPA estimated electric range with front-wheel drive. Great show today, boys, and great company in Chevy.
Yeah, really great show. Great car company. A Chevrolet is our rental car, actually. So that got us here safe and sound. Really just a smooth, beautiful, elegant ride. And it is a good show. We got Colt, who tells great stories. We talk PGA. We talk him calling the Masters. Packed show. It was a good one, and all thanks to Chevy.
God, I love Chevy. Thank you, Chevy. Leave the driving to Chevy Equinox EV and show up to the course energized with available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance technology. And the Equinox EV, these things are awesome, what I'm about to tell you about, which is the 17-inch diagonal center screen, the largest of any EV in its class. These things are high-tech. Feels like you're in the future. They're awesome. When it comes to EVs, Equinox EV is the smartest choice you can make. Let's talk major championship golf.
Now on the tee from USA, Dustin Johnson. He hits it before they finish his name.
No way.
And I start dying laughing. I'm not exaggerating one bit. 400 yards off the first roll county down.
Oh.
I hit 7-iron in, but I look at him, I go, dude, what the fuck was that? He goes, bro, I was so nervous I had to get that over with.
He got it out of the way. He quicked it to the pressure right there.
Not a guy who I would think gets that nervous.
Yeah.
You're talking
Oh, no, he
walks
does.
up- yeah.
And he's like, you just wait till you have to hit.
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. It's the second show of the week. It is PGA Championship time. We are live on site at Quail Hollow with the great Colt Knost.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You are great, Colt.
Hey, thanks.
I think you are great.
You're a great guy.
Not great at anything else, but great guy.
You're a great guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree
Thanks,
with
Trent.
that.
No problem.
Yeah, I was sorry to be confusing. I didn't mean great in like your abilities out there.
Okay, perfect. Glad we got that clear.
Yeah. We're here at Club Magenta, T-Mobile. You've done some stuff with T-Mobile, but they've been great partners with us all week. We're going to talk about them more throughout the show, but we've got Wyndham Clark and Max Homa for about 15 minutes talking, course, prep, major championship, winning here before the whole deal, so that's coming up towards the end. And then we're going to talk a lot of golf with Colt Knost. I mean, it's major championship week. You're obviously out there with CBS all the time. How different is this week for you?
Man, it's awesome. Just the major championships are they feel so much bigger. Obviously, we're here all week compared to just the weekend. And Quail Hollow Club, I mean, this is one of my favorite stops on tour. The city of Charlotte. That's it. Like, the galleries are just ridiculous here. Hopefully, this weather gets out of here, and it's going to be one hell of a weekend.
Funny, because we talked about it before, and a lot of people were weighing in on the venues, and, we had a whole conversation about it. I'm not a big fan in general of them being like majors, returning or using regular tour stops, and I feel like that gets misconstrued as like shitting on Quail Hollow. Quail Hollow is awesome. This place is sick. I think Charlotte is awesome coming here. We always have a good time. Huge crowds, like you said. I remember that from the President's Cup. We've come down here and done some stuff with the NASCAR guys.
Yep.
Obviously, a huge NASCAR presence here, and just had a great time. Lake Norman, Charlotte's really, really cool. So yeah, you can, defend the venue a little bit, Colt.
Listen, you will not find a golf course on the PGA Tour in better condition than Quail Hollow, and it's year in and year out when we come back here. Like, we all want big environments, right? We want the atmosphere to be great. That's why when the President's Cup was here, it was awesome. 2017, the PGA, same thing. Like, the golf course, some people like it, some people don't. But as far as
that's fine,
being able to host a big time event, which is, I think that's all that matters. Like, a lot of people shit all over Valhalla, right? It's too easy. Well, all I know is every time we went to Valhalla, the finish was always electric, and the crowds were crazy. And that's what we want coming down the stretch. We want it to be a battle between some of the best players in the world. If I could tell you right now, we're going to have Bryson and Xander or Bryson and Rory battling it out coming down 18 on Sunday, you wouldn't care what golf course we're at.
Give me, I would suck Quail Hollow's dick. I mean, it's true. I mean, and we've talked about it over the last 8 years, because another big conversation that we had, and shout out to our resident PGA pro, Beef, which PGA of America does phenomenal work, but a lot of people rank it fourth in terms of the majors. Doesn't have the same identity, history, whatever you want to call it, that the Masters has, that the U.S. Open has, that the Open Championship has. But we went through a couple shows ago, we went through like the last 8 or 10 or whatever it was. leaderboards and finishes, and the PGA is blowing out every other tournament in terms of the drama and the finishes. And like you said, people love to kind of shit on Valhalla last year. People weren't as hyped about in terms of the venue, and the 18th hole is kind of janky, and they're kind of going on. And then you look at the finish last year, was as electric of a finish you could possibly have. You had Hovland, Bryson, and Xander going toe-to-toe. Xander trying to get over the hump for the first time. Bryson making that putt in the 72nd hole and doing his big Bryson thing, firing up the crowd. And then Xander coming down and making a putt of his own. And that's just one of the last decades. So it's true. It's like the PGA has kind of figured out how to deliver the drama.
Well, I think a lot of that you got to give credit to the PGA of America and Kerry Haig, how they set the golf course up. They don't care if 2 under par wins or 22 under par wins.
Right.
They set the golf course up the best of their ability, and they say, here's the test. We're going to figure out who's the best player this week. And if you look at the leaderboards and you look at the champions, they're all, for the most part, big-name guys. I saw a stat where it's like 12 of the last 13 champions have been 35-1 or better to win.
Jesus.
So, you don't have many flukes around the PGA Championship.
No, and it's funny because all my, a couple different group texts with guys that are the golf crew, whatever, and everybody's talking about what are the picks, and we essentially boiled it down to like 7 people that it feels like our group feels like can actually win, and it's the top 7 people on, for us it's a DraftKings Sportsbook odds list, and when you get beyond that, it's hard to pick somebody. And I think when it's wet like that, do you agree that as it gets wet, it's longer? Course is a very big venue type course that it's you kind of are going to look at the biggest, straightest hitters.
Dude, if you don't fucking send it, I don't think you have a chance around here.
Yeah.
I really do. I've played in the, what was the Wells Fargo, now the Truist Championship, several times. And, I mean, when you can cut corners the way Rory McIlroy can, the way Bryson DeChambeau can, it changes this golf course.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking guys that are not short, like a Colin Morikawa, will be hitting 4-iron into 16, where Rory McIlroy last year was flipping a sand wedge in there. I don't care. Colin Morikawa is one of the best players in the world. He's the 4th-ranked player in the world. You have to go 4-iron versus sand wedge against another great player. You're going to lose over 4 days.
I think they said Rory averaged on 16 last year 358 off the tee on 16, and it's 520 par 4, and he had he was trying to hit a controlled, flighted little sand wedge into the green. And I walked out there. You look at that hole. The first hole is another great example of Rory just airmails the trees and was hitting it on average 340 or whatever on 1. And I'm looking at that hole. It's 500 yards or whatever it is, first hole. And we walked down it to get to this beautiful Club Magenta today. Shout out T-Mobile. And I watched it. I was like, this is a full 3-shot hole for me. Hitting a driver down the left.
Well, so is 13, the par 3 over here.
Where do you fall on just everybody getting really long? I know we're talking about the top of the top, but I know there's the rollback that's supposed to happen in 2030, but do you think it's a problem, guys hitting it that far, and then it's just these are the only guys who have a chance, and a guy who is as good as Colin Morikawa kind of doesn't have a shot?
I wouldn't say he doesn't have a shot, because I think he can get hot with the putter and because his ball striking is so good. But it is frustrating to come to places where it feels like the average length hitter doesn't have a chance. That's why I love golf courses like TPC Sawgrass, where whether you're the shortest hitter on the PGA Tour or the longest hitter, you have a chance around places like that.
Yep.
I don't like when it's so biased. Now, if we wouldn't have had all the rain we had, and this place was running firm and fast, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, that sucks.
Our man Kevin Kisner was in the final pairing in 2017.
I couldn't believe that when JT was alluding to that in his interview.
Yeah.
And he was like, when I hit the shot on 17, I knew Kiz had made bogey. And I was like, Kevin Kisner?
Kevin Kisner?
You're talking about the final round of a major championship?
I'll give you another one that was up there. I think in the next to last group was Chris Stroud, who was also not a long hitter.
Yeah.
But when it was playing, he was obviously playing much different back then. I think it brought a lot more guys into the mix. But now, I don't know how dry it's going to get. Obviously, right now we're praying it doesn't rain anymore the rest of the week, but it rained going back to last Friday around 5 inches.
That's insane.
They were saying they didn't have rain here for 3 months, and then this week it's been the most rain I've ever seen in my life.
Move the PGA to March. Okay?
Yeah, right.
It is, though, statistically the toughest field possible, right? I mean, we have 99 of the top 100 players here this week.
And we would have all.
We would have 100 if we
would
would have injury.
Yeah, for Billy Horschel.
Billy Horschel.
But yeah, they always say this is the toughest test in golf, toughest field-wise.
Well, that's the thing, too, is we know people shit on the PGA, as we alluded to, but especially even now with everything that's going on with LIV, there's only 4 times where everybody gets together, so it's it's the PGA, but if you win the PGA, nobody's you're not a major winner. Nobody looks at Justin Thomas and is you don't have any majors.
Yep.
It's still a fucking major.
Brooks Koepka's trophy case looks rather nice.
100%.
Yeah.
It's after the fact, everybody, no matter what, it's Xander is he's got over the hump at a PGA. It's not people are Xander still, he was, before he won again, but it counts. It's the PGA. It's a hard
it
field.
counts. By the way, and CBS covers it, so I think it's one of the. I think it's top two. I think it's top two.
Number one, baby.
It might be number one.
John Rahm was talking about it yesterday in his presser, where they're asking about, which they're doing to everybody now, about Rory winning the Grand Slam. How does that affect Rahm? Is there this competitive jealousy? All this stuff. And Rahm made the point of like, yeah, if I could win all four, that would be awesome. He's like, but really right now my career is like, I'm trying to win. Like, I would rather win like 7 just majors than anything else right now. The more I think about it, he's like, I'm just trying to stack up majors. And he's like, PGA, and he made that point in his head of like, I don't care. Like, I'm trying to just win as many majors, and the PGA is equal to all the other 3. And the funny part about all this, the PGA has probably been the best to us of any event out there.
They're incredible.
So, yeah. We love you, PGA Championship. We're here.
We think it's unfair that you get shit on like that. We went through it, like you said, a couple weeks ago about all the finishes. Like, it's almost the best tournament if you just look at results.
Yeah, if you took the name away and you said, here's the leaderboard, this is your major championship.
100%.
I want that one.
Yes.
It hasn't even been close how good the finishes have been and how iconic a few of them have been. Like, in the middle of COVID, too, with how down, like, Harding Park and all that, and how awesome that finish was, where the leaderboard was insane. Morikawa breaks through and has that eagle on, like, 16. And that, again, when there's no fans, everything was dead as could be, delivered the drama. The Phil is, like, one of the most iconic wins in history and everything that's happened since. The finish last year, like we talked about, it's just been kind of hit after hit with the PGA. So I got a question.
You go back real quick to 2020 at Harding Park. It's also the first glimpse we got of Scottie Scheffler competing in a major championship.
Is that right?
Final pairing Sunday, I believe, with Dustin Johnson. But he was the one. Up and coming. How good can he be? And all of a sudden, there he is. 2020 Harding Park. Now look what he's done.
Wow, I didn't remember that. You're obviously you're a Dallas guy. Scottie's a Texas guy. What was like? How on your radar has Scottie Scheffler been for ever?
I guess for how long has he been on your radar?
Yeah.
Well, so when I lived in Dallas, I'm still a member at Royal Oaks Country Club, which is where he's a member. His family moved there when he was 6 years old. So I've known Scottie since he was 6.
No way.
I mean, this tall.
And he said he was like a little guy for a while.
Tiny little guy. But even when he was 6, 7 years old, like had the swing. You know when like you see young kids getting started, they're not strong, so they like drag the club around them and everything because the club's so heavy.
Yep.
Scottie had his hands up here above his right shoulder since he was 7 years old. Like, it was just absurd. And he's a sponge. That's what Randy Smith has always called him. Like, he was opposite of me, as I always would go watch Randy teach the other pros, but I would talk the whole time. That's what I do.
What?
Scottie would sit on a bucket of balls and just listen for 2 hours. So he's always been that way. He's always been around really good players and always been just a special talent, in my opinion. So it's been so cool to see his rise, right? Like, winning 92 times in junior golf, winning the U.S. Junior, going to college and struggling a little bit, I think, with growing a foot in a year, the back injuries, but then Korn Ferry Tour, winning. PGA Tour, he got picked for the Ryder Cup, and I had just started full-time with CBS, and they had me on the CBS preseason call, and I said, I'm just telling you right now, him getting picked for the Ryder Cup is going to be a massive difference in what you see from Scottie Scheffler. Just let him get one win and look out.
Dude, I reference this tweet all the time, but I remember when the singles came out, and it was Rahm, Scheffler. And at that point, I was like, this guy's going to get boat raced by Rahm. And then he won, and then it felt like it was on. Yeah. Obviously, like you're saying, he's got a career and like he's got a resume, but it was that moment it felt like where it was like, oh, shit, this kid can play.
Well, I mean, it was a big deal to him that they trusted him to be on that team because he hadn't won yet. So he's a kind of a controversial.
Was it the next spring when he went
won
on that
Phoenix.
Run?
Yeah. And that's where it all started. I mean, a couple months later, but he's a winner. Like, he wins at every single level. And once you win at all those levels, you don't forget how to win. And he comes out here, and it's so cool to watch him play. Like, it just looks like he's going through the motions out there. No moment's too big for him. The way he just warms up, no track man. He's got the grip trainer.
Yep.
Just make sure his alignment's good. He
loves the grip, man.
Yeah, talking to Teddy the whole time. I mean, when I'm following him, I don't like to interrupt guys' warm-ups, but he'll turn around and just start telling stories about things going on at Royal Oaks. Like, everything just seems so casual.
But he's got to have you ever seen a side of him where he's just like, listen, he is a nice guy, and that's what everybody says, but like, there's got to be a part of him where he's like, when he's out there, he's like a motherfucker.
He's the most competitive person probably I've ever met. Like,
that's so
he
interesting.
Wants to kill you. Sam Burns told me a great story about how they almost got in a full-blown fight playing water volleyball at Scottie's house during the Byron Nelson a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is. If it's beer pong, water volleyball, I mean, just a putting contest with some buddies. Like, he wants to kill you. And that's what I think makes him so great, that he lives to compete.
That's
I remember talking to some guys that were Texas golfers, and we were asking them like, "Oh yeah, Scottie coming around. What's the MO on him?" Their MO was like he was fiery when he was in Texas.
Oh yeah,
like very fiery. And then my story I've told on the podcast before, but the only time I've ever really seen it was at the Masters 3 years ago, maybe. Whatever the year he didn't win the Masters in between. What did he win at 22 and 24?
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been 2023, and we were sitting at Amen Corner on Thursday, and I was out there with my buddies. We were having the full day. And Scottie had finished up on 11 first, and he had, like, made bogey. He had, like, missed a short putt or 3-putt or something. And so the other guys were still grinding on the 11th green, and him and Ted were walking from the 11th green to the 12th tee. And I watched him for that whole, like, 100-yard walk just going crazy with the hand emotions, looking at Ted.
Yeah.
And he was like, we were all looking like, that's Scottie fucking Scheffler.
Right,
He's
that's
like,
what you don't see.
No,
you just
man.
see the
very
guy.
rarely.
Yeah.
Like last year, BMW in Denver, which it takes, playing at 7,000 feet to mess with Scottie Scheffler's iron game. But we saw him there a little bit. But for the most part, and that was, Ted has been open about that. Like, that was one of the big deals before he took the job. Like, we're not going to act like this. Like, we're going to go out and we're going to handle our business, and you're going to act like a professional. And I think Ted's helped him a lot with that, as has Randy Smith, who's been in his ear for a very long time.
Yeah.
Go,
thanks. Hydrate.
I just cold water for you.
Gotta hydrate.
I know. Speaking of hydrating, I got a question. I was wondering. So you've been walking all the tracks, all the courses out there for CBS now for years.
How long have you been doing it?
This is year 5.
Wow.
Has it been that long since your like hostage video that you posted?
No, yeah, it hadn't been that long. That was when I got my full-time gig that I
like
got
3
the
years
hostage
or
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of those press conferences yesterday. With Xander and them in the wine cellar.
Oh,
in there.
dude.
Those were beautiful.
Bryson, too.
Yeah.
Oh, those were wild.
No, so 2020, I did like 15 events Thursday, Friday for Golf Channel, early Saturday, Sunday, and then 21 PGA was my first ever like real CBS gig.
Okay. So your deal on a week-to-week basis, you mentioned earlier, like this is a week when you're here the whole week. A normal week when you're out there, when do you kind of arrive and when you leave?
Yeah, so if I'm just doing the weekend for CBS Saturday and Sunday, I normally get in Thursday afternoon, Thursday night.
Go straight to the bar.
Yeah, it just depends on where we're at, what city we're in. Also try to set up a golf game on Friday.
Nice.
I've seen all these golf courses so many times.
Right.
And we go to such great cities. Yeah, with great golf. So, one, flight delays, don't want to get stuck if I try to risk it coming in Friday night.
Yep.
So normally Thursday night, hang out Friday, play golf if I can, and then get to work Saturday and Sunday. But I do 9 Thursday, Fridays for Golf Channel as well. So that's a full week deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm having so much fun. It's a
You're
blast
great.
being out here.
I mean, again, I don't want to throw the term great around
be nice.
too much around here, but you are great at it. It's
Thank
very
you.
natural. You have a good rapport with everybody out there. I feel like you and Frank Nobilo get into it a little bit, which I
His
like.
birthday today, by the way.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Frank
birthday,
Nobilo.
Frank Nobilo.
He's
Happy
100.
birthday. How old a guy is he?
I think Frank's 63, maybe.
Oh, wow.
He's a young guy.
Yeah, it is.
He's 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 100, he said. So I was going to ask, where does Quail Hollow rank among most difficult courses to walk? Because you must have a pretty good sense.
Yeah, it's up there. It's sneaky hilly.
Yeah.
And there's so many damn people always, which is a great thing, but just getting through around the people, trying to take shortcuts. It's definitely up there in one of the Muirfield Village up there as well.
I've never been to Muirfield. Is it pretty hilly?
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's
man.
awesome.
Yeah, I heard it's great.
You should go.
They got like cottages on site too that everybody, because they got a lot of national members. I heard.
Yeah, and Ohio State's right down the road, so.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Is it that
Figure
close
gets
to
you-
Columbus? Interesting. All right.
Yeah, it's just outside of Columbus, but yeah, this one's definitely up there. Like, I don't think any of them are. Like, I didn't go to Castle Pines, which I heard is just brutal.
Cool though. It looked cool.
Oh yeah,
That was NBC because it was a playoff event.
Mhm.
So when
So-
are you guys done?
we are done this year at Wyndham Championship. So starting middle of August, I'm done until January. But next
Wow.
year we have the playoffs. So at least starting next year, it's like every other year we go back and forth between the playoffs. So
Okay.
get to go to Memphis and Atlanta in August. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Don't sweat at all.
That's perfect.
Warm.
That was what was it? Lucas Glover with the pants.
Yeah.
That was a big one with the pants.
Oh yeah,
Tough.
sweaty ass.
Yeah, big
Oh, I
time.
mean,
Tough
that's-
to avoid that, really. That time.
I guess you got to pick the right pant color.
You wear a lot of black, right?
We do. Well, we have so just because I know you have a lot of listeners and followers out there, the amount of people that come up to me on Sundays when I'm all dressed in all black, so is our camera guy, so is the person walking next to me. They don't realize that everyone at CBS for over 25 years, they've been wearing all black on Sundays. Doesn't matter the weather. It's just their deal. And listen, I'm a team player,
Doesn't matter. This
Tradition?
globe's heating up.
but the amount of people that are like, oh, nice color choice today. I'm like, Yeah, dude.
No, you hear that over and
By the way,
over
if I wore all white, I'd still be sweating my ass off. Doesn't really matter. And I would look ridiculous.
You would
see through.
Yeah.
I need you in an all white Wimbledon white Colt Knost.
No.
Just, maybe some bunch of linen. Wear some linen out there.
Dress like Xander's dad.
Yes.
With a little top hat. And
That's
linen.
comfort.
Yeah.
That's real
God,
comfort.
I love him.
He is a beauty.
He's a character.
With the safari hats and the stogies all the time.
He cracks me up.
Let's talk about the Masters tournament a little bit.
Okay.
So what was your role with the Masters tournament?
So I was just on the feature groups.
Okay.
Early morning, Thursday, Friday, Shane Bacon and Billy Kratzer. So coverage doesn't start till 3 in the afternoon. So it's great. Like if you want to watch the Masters and you want to watch the big name guys, you have to come over and watch to us.
It's funny with the early coverage. I never know when I'm going to hear your voice because,
Mm-hmm.
again, I don't know. And then I'll flip over to, like, whatever, Rory's group all of a sudden, and then sure enough, you hear Colt Knost.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like I got that opportunity, I guess, 5 years ago. But I'll be honest, like my end-all, be-all goal is I want to be on the golf course.
Yeah.
You know, Dottie is the only one on the golf course right now for CBS. I'm hoping one day they add 2 walkers. We'll see if that happens or what my role could be over
So you
time.
do all that from a trailer?
So it's definitely not a trailer at Augusta. It's a place called the
careful,
Content
dude.
Center.
You got to cut that.
What's that shack you do those broadcasts from?
Yeah, come out there in the back shed over there.
I can't get out.
No, that's fine.
That's
There are horses out there or anything?
We got some porta potties.
Just
right
a pile of
outside.
Air conditioners don't work in that
That-
building. They just have a Colt Knost out there. I'll be fine.
Damn you people, go back to your shanty.
All right, so what's the content center that
So,
you
yeah.
broadcast from?
So they built a few years ago the Content Center, which is
Good
across
save.
Washington, and it is unbelievable. That's where ESPN, CBS are, I believe the World Feed as well. But I mean, we have this massive building, and that's where like feature groups is, featured holes, Amen Corner. Our producer Sellers Shies, our president, vice president, everybody has their offices over there. But so us 3 are in a room. It's probably 10 by 10, decently sized room. Got a bunch of TVs on the wall, monitors, and you're sitting in the room calling it off a monitor. So it's different for me. Like I love being out walking.
Yep.
I love feeding off the crowd. Like even though I'm not playing, like I still get excited coming down the stretch when
Sure.
there's tons of people out there,
Totally.
and it's a big moment. But to call the Masters is obviously an honor. It's just I have higher goals for myself, and hopefully they happen soon.
I think you're on a great path. Another more greatness coming your way, it sounds like. So after your job was up, what did you do? How'd you soak in? Did you like stick around and soak in Rory's finish?
So that's actually funny. So I was done in the morning. So I was finishing right before Rory teed off.
Yeah.
So went in, said bye to everybody. Saw Rory hit his tee shot on the first hole. Got in the car and was staying at a house with Frank and Ian and Mark Immelman just down the road. And before I've tried to go out on the golf course, like first year Scottie won, I was like, I'm gonna go watch. I walked 14 holes and saw 4 shots. Like,
yeah.
You can't see anything.
No.
I mean, so that's
And you can't track anything out.
No,
like, really.
and I want to watch it. Like I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And so I'm there at the rental house watching every single shot, and I'm dead serious on about hole 11. I was like, I might take a nap. Like I'm kind of tired.
over.
Like this thing's over. He's leading by 4. Kind of a snooze fest.
And then on 12, he hit the right shot. He hit
Yeah.
it right
Oh,
down
this-
in the middle of the green.
This thing is going to be boring. Like we haven't had an exciting finish in so long. Here we go again. And I'm just about to doze off, and he hits that wedge on 13. I look like the Undertaker popping up out of the damn casket. I was like, what just happened? And then all of a sudden I'm sweating. I'm nervous. I'm like, I cannot believe what just happened here. And it turned out to be one of the greatest finishes in Masters history.
What do you think his thought process on 13 was?
Yeah, it's crazy to think what pressure and nerves can do to a golf swing. Like,
Yeah.
I told somebody the other day, I said, you give me every golf ball that's on this planet right there, right now, and put it in front of Rory McIlroy, and the only one he'll hit in the water is the one that mattered.
Totally
Like,
agree.
Yeah.
It's just, and you sit with your buddies at home, or you're sitting
Yeah.
around the golf course, at Whisperock, and you hear people, oh, how do you hit that shot? How do you miss it? I'm like, that's one of the greatest players we've ever seen, and you can see what pressure does.
Yeah.
I mean, even the wedge, but then he follows it up with 15, which there's probably 3 people in the history of the game that can hit the shot he hit right there, and then the wedge on 18. After he did the hard part, he hit the fairway, has 124 yards left. I was like, okay, well, this thing's a wrap, middle of the green, 20 feet, 2-putt. And then he gets that stuck underneath wedge, blocks it in the bunker, and I'm like, you've got to be shitting me right now. Like, what?
Dude, it's like hard to relive it, but it was so awesome at the same time. And I we talked about it so much as everybody did, but what I love about Rory is how much he lets you in, not just in the interviews and all that, but in the way that he plays. And you see these guys that are robotic out there. They're trying to be robotic out there. Like that's the goal, is to be robotic. You're trying to play boring golf, especially if you're leading the tournament. Trying to hit in the middle of the fairway, hit in the middle of the green. You don't have to do anything special. But you can't help, that guy can't help but wear everything on his sleeve, including his golf game. And the fact that he hit the worst wedge I think anybody's ever seen from like a top tier, top 10, top 15 player of all time on a hole where like anyone on earth could hit that shot on the green that's like ever played golf. And then you add that pressure, like you said, nerves, and people just have no clue. And you know, I've tried to say a bunch of times with even us, where it's like, yeah, dude, we're capable of playing pretty good golf sometimes, but also you see us a lot of times in like a lot of the worst shots we hit, we're so nervous and our swings suck already. So
Terrible.
It's like, so
Terrible.
now imagine how much nerves break down our swing. When they can break down one of the best swings, it's like, dude, we got no chance, and you're going to hit some of the worst shots of all time. And I go back to, like, before we were ever on YouTube or the internet or whatever, it's like when I would be on the 12th tee and there'd be a delay so the group would pull up behind you, I would hit a horrific shot every time because I'd be so nervous that there's 4 strangers watching you.
Champagne problems with the first tee at Pebble. It's like,
dude.
When you're trying to hit that 2-iron at the dad block on the first
freezing
hole,
cold.
Oh, my God. It could have been 100 degrees. You're still trying to hit a 2-iron. This is my opinion, though, and I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on this. If it was the PGA, the U.S. Open, or the Open Championship, and Rory's got a 4-shot lead with 11 to play, he probably wins by 7.
Yeah.
I think the Masters means that much to him, and trying to achieve that goal with a career Grand Slam.
well, that's sort of what Riggs is saying, I think, where it's like it comes out in his golf game how important it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I do agree with you. I think
Yeah.
if that's another tournament or the other majors, it's totally fine. But it's like, oh my gosh, it's Rory, it's the Masters. I think he even said somewhere recently where he was up 4 and he was like, oh, there's that feeling again. And it's like, oh shit. And you could see it out there on 13 and everywhere. It was like, I think you're right. But it's just the Masters and Rory that it had to be the way that it was.
And I think
I'm so happy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Beef.
Yeah, I think the only time that we've seen that too was Spieth on number 12. He put 2 of them in the water that way, right? Like it really could have gotten super far away from him.
Especially
after
the
he dunked it
flub
first time.
second one.
Absolutely.
Because anybody can kind of flare one into the water there. We saw it a million times in 2019. We've seen it a million times over the years. But you're right. With Spieth, that second one was where his brain just was running a trillion miles an hour, and he's like, what am I doing? Like,
and then everything's on you of like, hey, I haven't, won this event. It's my 9th time or 10th time trying to do this thing. And you're going into Sunday and you're the leader. You have 6 holes left. Keep the cart on the road as best as you can.
Yeah.
And the brakes go out and the wheel tires fly off on 13, and it's like, okay, you got back together.
I'll never forget the Jordan one. I mean, that's when I was still living in Dallas. Obviously, 2014, he finishes runner-up to Bubba in his first appearance. Then he just runs away in 15. And then here we are again, 5-shot lead, 9 holes to play. I'm like, this guy's never going to lose at Augusta National.
Right.
Like, he's going to win every time he tees it up. And then that happened. Yeah, that was wild. That was a tough one.
That was so stunning when that happened. I think it's Smylie who tells the story, too, of Spieth rolling up to the 13th tee and going like, so whose honor is it?
So Spieth said that to him. So Smylie, a lot of people didn't know this. Smylie was playing with him in the final pairing, and he made 2 on 13 or on 12. And they're walking to 13, and he's like, dude, this is one of my best friends. I don't know what to say right now. Yep. And we get back there, and it's dead silent, and he goes, is it you or me? Spieth said that. I was like, whoa. I guess Smylie kind of just laughed. I was like, yeah, I think it's me, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
What a moment that is.
Beat you by 6 on that hole.
Oh.
So you're a U.S. amateur champion. What was it?
07.
07. What was the course?
Olympic Club, which is where it's at this year for the first time since.
God bless. You won an Olympic Club. Everything side hill there.
Yeah.
That's a hard
narrow
place.
Shit.
Yeah. That's right up your alley.
I like that place.
Attaboy. What's the most nervous you've been? We're talking about nerves right now. What's the most nervous like golf shot you've hit? Have you hit like a horrific, nerve-wracking golf shot?
Oh, I'm sure I have. Just most nerves was definitely like Walker Cup, playing with Dustin Johnson. I'll tell you a good Dustin Johnson story. So we go over to Royal County Down. We haven't won on foreign soil.
Is that where the Walker Cup was when you played? Oh.
We haven't won on foreign soil, much like U.S. team, like in forever. Same thing back then. And we go over there, and it's me and Dustin Johnson are playing alternate shot, and the second match out against Rory McIlroy and another guy from Northern Ireland named Jonathan Caldwell. And they allowed like 20,000 people on the grounds, and they walked down the fairways. And pretty much everyone is following this group right here. I believe me and Rory were number 1 and 2 in the world at the time.
And everyone's against you, too.
Of course, yeah. So we go over there, and Dustin, I love. Like, he's my guy, and he's going to hit the first tee shot. So they announce, representing Team USA, Dustin Johnson, Colt Knost, and from Great Britain and Ireland, Rory McIlroy, Jonathan Caldwell. Now on the tee from USA, Dustin Johnson. he hits it before they finish his name.
No way.
And I start dying laughing. I'm not exaggerating one bit. 400 yards off the first hole at Royal County down.
Oh.
I hit 7-iron in, but I look at him, I go, dude, what the fuck was that? He goes, bro, I was so nervous I had to get that over with.
He got it out of the way. He quicked it to the pressure right
Also,
there.
not a guy who I would think gets that nervous.
Yeah.
What are you talking
Oh, no, he
about?
does.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just wait till you have to hit. So we get up there, and he outdrives Rory by 80 yards probably.
Unbelievable.
And I got a 7-iron out, and I'm walking into it, and I get over it. And you just hear these footsteps, and it sounds like a bunch of Clydesdales coming behind. And I turn around, it's just this sea of people, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, this is real. Like, now we're going. And ended up going along. We ended up having the match. I missed a 6-footer for us to win, which Dustin says it's a 2-footer. But Dustin,
I'm sure he does.
full
Yeah.
of shit.
Oh,
But it was his fault, no matter what.
God,
I mean, representing your country is just a whole, no matter what level, just a whole different level.
I
Right.
can't even imagine. How'd you guys do overall?
We won.
Nice.
Yeah. We
You guys had to have had some studs on that.
Yeah, who's
team.
on that
dude,
team?
Dustin, Chris Kirk, Webb Simpson, Fowler, Horschel, Jamie Lovemark, Kyle
What was
Stanley.
Billy Ho like at that age?
Billy, same thing he's like in these team events out here. He's a lunatic. I mean, he was great. I love Billy Ho. He's
So
one of
do
my
I.
favorites. He loves the red, white, and blue so much, right?
Yep.
Anything team-wise, like TGL, we saw him going nuts out there. I was like,
Dude, I remember even when he won the FedEx Cup, he was doing the Gator class.
Yeah.
Because he's such a team college guy.
I mean, you asked Rory McIlroy his level of hate for Billy Horschel at the Walker Cup. I mean, Billy was going nuts the whole time, and the gallery was just giving it to him. But yeah, he's got a lot of passion. I love Billy Ho.
That is
Speedy
so
recovery,
good.
Billy.
Yeah, that's such a bummer, especially because I know he was going to try to make a charge for the Ryder Cup team.
Yeah.
He's playing good golf. But yeah, Billy Ho's a legend. The biggest names, the brightest stage, championship level swings are lighting up Charlotte this week, and DraftKings Sportsbook is your front row seat to every thrilling moment. Look, we're coming off a hot streak on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Masters tournament a month ago. We were all in Rory McIlroy. I know on the last show we went through, we did a little snake draft, the three of us.
Yep.
Little snake draft. We were factoring in the odds. You know, you couldn't, since it's a snake draft, once somebody was off the table, they're off the table. I still love JT. I believe he was plus 2,200. I still love that. I'm sprinkling that. But my main horsey I'm going to be whipping with what do they whip him with?
Ooh, I don't know what they call that.
They whip him with a whip, I guess.
Oh,
Somebody
yeah.
was telling me recently that some horse jockeys have gotten in trouble before for electrocuting their horses.
Oh,
as
my
they ride
God.
with their little whip thing that has like
Oh.
an electric shock on it, which I found to be wrong. But anyways, point is, my main horse this week is Rory McIlroy, plus 500.
I'm on Rory as well. I think Jersey Jerry is on JT. I think that's his pick for the week. But I'm on Rory too for all the reasons you listed. The Masters, I think he's freed up. I think he's motivated. I think he's going to have a great week. Who are you picking?
Still give me Spieth here. I want him to complete
I
the career
like
Grand
that.
Slam. I'm a big sucker for Hollywood endings like that. So
Yeah.
give me Spieth here at Quail Hollow. He's never won here yet, but this could be his year.
I laughed. They pretty much had the same Spieth talk on live from last night, and Brandel was trying to make the case for Spieth. He was going through the whole thing, doing the whole deal. He was making the point of actually, when the course is softer, yeah, it plays longer for the shorter guys, but that means the greens are going to be softer. So even if you're hitting an iron in, that's a longer iron, good stuff. And then they cut to Paul McGinley, and he was like, no. He just was like, I'm just not
Could happen,
seeing
though.
it.
Hey,
Could happen.
It's rained a lot here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but the forecast for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday seems to be pretty good for us. So
I think so too.
if he can make the cut and the course dries out a little bit more, it may go back to the players that don't hit the ball as far as Rory McIlroy or DeChambeau.
Here's the big win for new users, by the way. Bet $5 and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code FORE, that's F-O-R-E, to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Another one that I like for the people out there, just before I throw it to the conclusion of the call to action here, Shane Lowry, top 10 is plus 350. I don't think Shane Lowry has the horsepower to win, but he's been playing great golf lately. He's come up a little bit short, played well at the Masters tournament. That's just one more thing I'm going to throw at people is I like Shane Lowry for a top 10. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. You know that feeling when it's the first hole of the day, knock the ball straight down the fairway, and you start to think, I could probably win one of these tournaments. Well, that's life with T-Mobile, where you're really winning except at all of life, because with Magenta Status, you get perks and benefits just for being a T-Mobile member, like being here right now.
Yeah, this is great. We're at Club Magenta right now. It's a beautiful place to hang out.
as guys that we take about 100 flights a year, by the way, Magenta Status hooks you up with free in-flight Wi-Fi so you can surf, stream, and text from 30,000 feet. Try flying without Wi-Fi. It's brutal. In fact, I'm going to be flying on Sunday. I'm going to miss some of the final round because we have to hurry to Florida for a quick shoot. And I'm going to be able to, thank God, Magenta Status, use a little free Wi-Fi to watch some golf.
There's nothing better than Wi-Fi on a plane. You just don't have to be
like
disconnected.
You're in your living room.
You don't have to be disconnected. It used to be like really hard to connect, and it was just like, I don't know if it's worth my time. Bang, Magenta Status. It's easy. You get it. You watch things. You stream things. You're on Twitter. You're on Instagram. You can do everything that you would do when you're on the ground.
I'm in my living room, man.
We got a great time right now for sports, too. We got playoffs going on, major sports. We got golf coverage. You can literally stream anything, any of the movies you've had downloaded. It's Magenta Status is awesome.
Yep, you can't be disconnected, man. If you're a T-Mobile member and at the PGA Championship, by the way, come through. We're here right now. You can bring 2 guests with you to T-Mobile's exclusive Club Magenta located on the 10th green. Get the best views of the action and chill out in some comfy seats after walking around all day long. There are premium giveaways, AR putting, phone charging stations, and some surprise guest appearances like us, actually. And last but not least, a full bar, which, speaks to me.
Full.
You get all this access just for being a T-Mobile member. See you there. Break 90, this PGA Championship with T-Mobile. Is that a shot? No,
I don't think that's a shot.
That's nice. That's good. Tee up your exclusive Magenta Status benefits from T-Mobile at T-Mobile.com/benefits. I got to ask you about, just in terms of your gig, you're doing live TV a lot. What's your biggest, slip up on live TV?
Well, I haven't, cussed or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, which everybody is surprised about.
I'm very surprised.
My first full year with CBS, I guess, was 21 or 22. But we're at the Farmers Insurance Open, Torrey Pines, and I finished 2 hours early with my group. I think it was the year it was Luke List and Will Zalatoris in a playoff.
Yep.
And so I'm flying to Scottsdale with Gary Woodland. So he's done. He's waiting, and I'm sitting there for 2 hours. But I think I was with Will. He shot 65 on Sunday. So I have to hang around in case there's a playoff because I take that guy, Dottie takes the other one. So I'm just slowly hanging out. Then it looks like Luke's going to win or whoever's going to win. It doesn't matter. But we're creeping back. And the compound's far. The compound's on the other side of 12.
Not a trailer. It's compound?
Yeah. TV compound.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Content
so we're kind of by there. All of a sudden, playoff, boom. Sellers is in my area. He's like, Colt, turn around, go back. So I'm rushing to get back. They're getting ready to go in the playoff. My monitor that I used to carry on my neck, the strap breaks, so I got no monitor. It's almost dark, okay? And my guy, I can't remember who it was at the time, Luke probably, but you can't see the ball in the air. He hits it, quick bend down, pick up the tee. The marshal signals it's straight,
actually.
And I was hammered right down the middle, and it flies in the right bunker. And Fowler's like, oh, really? They must have moved the fairway or something like that. And my social media.
Just dogged you.
And I totally guessed, right? I just went off his reaction, the marshal, and I'm like, I will never guess, never trust any of that ever again. I got smoked for it.
As far as the slip-up goes, that's not bad.
No, but it's one of those mistakes you learn, but.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah. How what's the pack now? Is it starting to get smaller?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I was going to say, they got to start streamlining those because back in the day, it was like a whole computer.
When I first started, I had a backpack and then a thing around my neck that was the TV monitor to call tape shots off of. Now I have someone carry the monitor, and we have 2 little clips that go on our belt. When I used to carry all that shit, you're talking about in the middle of summer, and the battery on the monitor burnt a whelp in my gut. I mean, it was.
I didn't know you guys had monitors out there. So what? That's
we do it, at CBS.
Okay.
So it's great because obviously you can't show every shot live.
Right.
And this isn't giving away a secret or anything, but we have a monitor that the actual coverage is on. So when we come back to a shot, Justin Thomas at 11 that had already happened, and you don't want to predict it because then it just sounds too obvious, but at least then your timing's right? You can set up the shot. You don't talk while he's hitting. You know when the ball lands. And for putting, it's great too because you can't hear impact on putting. And you can call tape shots, full shots because you hear the strike of the golf ball.
Right.
You can kind of guess how long until it lands and everything. But with the monitor, you can see it and obviously make it just a lot more accurate.
Dude, I remember that from when we did the Corn Ferry Tour broadcast a couple of years ago. That was something that they had us do was call taped shots like they were live. And I remember all of us being like, God, we're gonna fuck this up big time. And you're gonna try to take a victory lap through it and be like, oh, I bet he's just gonna play a little cut right of the pin here.
Right. You didn't want to act you didn't the future, so you don't want to be like, I know what's going to happen here, so I'm going to act like I got the greatest call ever.
Yeah,
Totally.
You can have a perfect line of bunker, and you've already seen that he sculled it across the green, and be like, oh yeah, this guy's probably gonna skull.
Yeah,
this
right.
one, yeah.
This looks simple, but it's easy to skull this one. Be
But
careful.
That's one thing, and I know, like talking to Smylie, they're over at NBC, like their walkers, they don't call any tape shots. So like if you're
Really?
a walker and you're not with the main group, you won't call many shots throughout the day, I would think.
Right.
So for us, it's great. I know it's expensive, but it makes the broadcast better, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Smylie, I was like, when you were talking about your call earlier, I felt bad for Smylie last year on the Rory putt on the 72nd at Pinehurst when he got dogged for being like, I don't think you have to like play it outside the hole or whatever he said. And then Rory played it like 2 cups outside and missed low. Well, and I remember him explaining it, being like, you got to realize on that one, like I didn't have the time or the access or whatever it was to get up and actually read the putt. So I was calling it from like 100 yards away.
Well, it's just social media too, as you know. It's like, I mean, I'll say a putt's right edge and it might break right. And I mean, people on Twitter are like, God, you know anything about this game? I mean, no wonder you're carrying a microphone. You can't make a putt. You can't read it. Like, dude, we don't get to like go on the green and aim point it like before we go.
Yeah.
Like, most of the reads are 30 yards away, and you kind of just from playing over time, you generally know like, hey, this green slopes right to left. This is probably gonna move a little. That's why it's you got to be very careful. And Smylie learned a lesson there of like saying exactly what you think. Like, hey, this putt's gonna move left or right here.
Yeah, you got to keep it a little more generic.
Yeah, you say left edge and firm, and then it snaps 2 cups. You're like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, you got to be like, this putt should move a little. This putt should move right.
Especially the 72nd hole. Like,
ooh.
Yeah. And right when he did it, I was like, oh boy.
Like one of the most famous missed putts of all time.
Are you working the caddies when you're out there, like for like what's going on, how they're feeling, club choice, all that, like when you're out there?
So I don't talk to them unless they talk to me. Like,
okay.
Like I had Keith Mitchell and JT on Sunday last week at Philly Cricket, and Keith's like, hey, don't be a stranger. Like, you can come hang out, talk a little bit, which is great. That's not everyone.
Yep.
The caddies do give signals as far as clubs and everything like that.
So what's it? Down 2 is
7.
Well,
down 2 would be 2 iron. Sorry, up 2 would be a 7 iron.
Okay.
I mean, I mostly know from the yardage. They don't need to go up or down. Like
right.
Four is 4 and 4 iron or 9 iron.
181 and he's not hitting a 2 iron.
No. I mean, we got 148 here and I get a 4. It's not 4 iron. I'm pretty sure about that one.
Wait, so down is
the longer club.
Okay.
Up is the shorter club.
Okay.
It only works for. And then we have different. Like we actually have a tip of the cap is gap wedge. I don't really know why that is. That's just what they taught me.
Boy, I gotta watch for this.
Well, we got the inside lingo going on here.
Wait, is this with every caddy you're saying, or just like one?
Yeah, they know the signals.
Really?
Yeah.
Tip of the cap, gap wedge.
Mm-hmm.
Do some of them not? Do they withhold?
Some of them. I get it. You're doing your job, so it's not like, oh shit, I got to make sure I signal Colt or the spotter.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on over here? But most of them are really, really good at it.
I'm always impressed at like the ability to gather and deliver the information in like the back nine of the Masters. When like Dottie or whoever it is on 15, it's like, yesterday he hit that great 6 iron. Today he's got 1 less. This is a 7 iron, and then he's hitting it. I'm like, the fact that like their person was able to gather all the. I just watched Rory pull his club out of his bag 5 seconds ago.
Yeah,
it's like gathering that information and delivering it in that intense of a moment is incredible.
It moves very quickly.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. But the caddies are a big help out there with that stuff.
Is there like a favorite player to walk with?
I got a lot. I mean, Rory, I would say over the years is just I love walking with him. No matter if he's in 40th or leading the golf tournament, there's so many people out there. And like I said, you feed off the energy of the crowd. He's so fun to watch. I mean, just driving the golf ball is ridiculous. And like, I'll tell you another like little inside one. Last year at the PGA, our producer Seller Shy is like, "Hey, you can pick. You can go with." It was Shane Lowry and Sahith Theegala in the next to last group, which is who I normally go with. Or he's like, you can pick and go with Bryson and Victor. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go with Bryson and Victor. And it was a little bit of a gamble because you could choose the wrong one and you never get to.
You're not on.
You don't call a shot all day.
Yeah.
Sure.
And damn, I chose the right one that day.
Wow.
We had 64 and 65 between them, I think, and the place was going nuts. Bryson hit 8 iron from 222 yards on 16, like a foot and a half.
Yep.
And he plays to the crowd out there. They get behind him.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be a factor this week. I think this is a good setup for him.
He just walked through over here on number 10 actually.
Yeah?
Did he? Yeah, he just finished out on the putting green over
How'd
here.
he look?
Looked good. He had a couple different shots across the green to where pins are going to be on Friday and Saturday, but looked good.
You have a nice crowd, Beef?
He did. Very nice crowd. You even heard the crowd in the roar back there. I don't know if you guys heard it.
As a fellow Dallas guy, how do you feel about Bryson in general? You love Bryson, right?
So I met him in college.
Yeah.
The coach at the time, Josh Gregory, who's out here now, asked me to play occasionally with the team, and so I'd always go play with Bryson, and just always a freak talent. I never, ever and I don't think anybody has agreed with his whole sand wedge, lob wedge approach of being the length of a 6-iron thing. That's always been a thing, but it's been crazy to see him go from college, winning the NCAAs as an amateur, to kind of struggling as a pro. Wasn't the biggest fan favorite, wasn't the biggest player's favorite out there, to then obviously doing what he did where he beefed up, started hitting it 400 yards, and then lost weight again, and now he's one of the best players in the world, a major champ, 2-time major champion, and now the crowd loves him again. I mean, I remember there's always that scene from the Open Championship a couple years ago where he was on the range with his team, and he was like head on the scoreboard back there, basically just losing it because he couldn't find the golf course. And now, I mean, he's must-see TV out there.
He really is. He's so entertaining for the game of golf, and you're right. Like, the fans love him. That scene after he won at Pinehurst last year of him taking the trophy around and the fans, like, touching it in real time. I don't know.
Shot with Johnson Wagner out of the bunker from live from.
Yeah, and he was all giddy, and it's like, it's always interesting because we've gone up and down a million times about Bryson, and we're obviously a pretty opinionated show. So, like, when we're cold on Bryson, we let him have it. When we're hot on Bryson, we're, like, all giggly about him. So it's so interesting to think about, but it's not that long ago that he was like, he had been attacked by that rope at the live event.
Jumped out and bit him.
Just handled it like an alien, and everyone was like, what is wrong? And then a year later, it was like he had this transformation of the YouTube star and leaning into the content and leaning into the crowd and winning and competing in all these major championships. It's like, I can't even think of another player either that takes on as much as he takes on and performs almost better as he does it, right? Like, it was like when Rory took on all the stuff and he was the prince of the tour, and he was still playing well. He won the RBC, the Canadian Open. He was still really, really good, but even he has admitted that, like, since he's backed off and just kind of focused on, like, posting the lowest score, that's been better for him. You look at Bryson, and he's posting like a YouTube video on, like, Wednesday of a major week, promoting it, then going out. He's the guy that hits the most shots on the range every day. He's there while they're doing the live from coverage at night. Brandel and McGinley are, like, turning around like he's still fucking out there, and then he's contending.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh,
have I told you my Bryson story from when he first turned pro, the prank on Graham DeLette?
No.
Oh, this is great. So he's making his pro debut at Harbor Town right after he played well as an amateur at the Masters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get there, and, Harbor Town's the tartan jacket and all that. So everything, they had all those. He was wearing the little hat at the time, the Payne Stewart hat.
Yep.
They had all these tartan print.
The little hat.
Tartan print Payne Stewart hats on. And that week, obviously, he's a Puma guy. Puma's sending him all this stuff. And the lockers are obviously in ABC order. So DeChambeau's is right next to DeLette's. And me and Graham are buddies. We go to dinner, play a lot of golf together. And all week, he is just bitching nonstop. Like, this DeChambeau's been out here for 2 minutes. He's already pissing me off. His stuff's always in front of my locker. I can't ever get to my locker. He's just annoying the hell out of me. Well, then all the Puma guys have to put out, welcome to the team, best of luck, hashtag cap it like Bryson. And I was like, you pussy. You had to suck up to the guys wearing you out and all this. So we finish on, like, Friday. I think I played Friday morning or Saturday morning. And I told my caddy, I was like, hey, here's my credit card. Go get me one of those hats. And he's like, all right. So I go get one of those hats, and I put a little note on it. And I was like, 2 Graham, best of luck in your career, and autograph it, Bryson DeChambeau. And I put it in his locker.
Yes.
So I go hit balls, and about an hour later, here comes Graham. And Graham's a fiery guy, Canadian. You can just see he's walking with a purpose. And I'm like, he got it. He got it. He comes over and he's like, dude, you're never going to believe what this fucking kid did. And I'm like, what? And he goes, this kid autographed a hat and put it in my locker saying best of luck in my career. I've been out here for 10 years. He's been out here for 10 minutes. Like, who the hell does this kid think he is? And I'm just like, oh, man. I was like, that's kind of an aggressive. Yep. I was like, you going to say anything to him? He's like, I think I should. And I was like, yeah, I think you should too.
Oh, God.
This is making me uncomfortable.
He leaves. He doesn't see, but like 30 minutes later, he comes back. He's like, I think someone's fucking with me. And I was like, dude, I just lost it. I was like, all right. He's like, you got me. He goes, it's coming back to you. Don't worry.
What a move.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And Bryson didn't know about it until like 2 years later. And we were actually in Vegas, and Bryson was actually having a drink at the Aria with us. And I told him the story.
Of course,
and he's
you're
like,
at the
wow,
Aria.
that's good. That was a fun
fantastic. Were you at Carbone or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably. Some fancy place. You know
Fancy.
how we do.
So were you like friends with Jim Nantz?
I think so. I hope so.
That's cool.
What's that like?
Unbelievable.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Legend.
Jim Nantz. I mean, he started at CBS in '85, which is the year I was born. So the only voice with CBS Golf like that I've really ever known as far as the host is Jim, and then to work with him is ridiculous. I mean, he's like his on-air personality is exactly the same as his off-air. I mean, that's just that's Jim Nantz. He's the nicest guy. I mean, we'll be at a tournament. We just use here for an example, and a volunteer will be like, "Hi, Jim," and he's like, "Oh, hey, Chris." Like, he knows everyone's name. And I'm like, dude, that's no
That's
disrespect.
awesome.
Like, these tournaments can't happen without volunteers, but that's a volunteer that just came by and said hi to you. And he's like, yeah, I met you 4 years ago on the 7th tee. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
That's
I can't remember my
incredible.
Pro-Am partners' names. And this guy,
No, I barely remember your name.
yeah, exactly.
That's all class.
He's as good as it gets.
That's so good. Jim Nantz.
It's really cool. I mean, just to think, like, you text back and forth with Jim Nantz, and he throws it down in the fairway and say, what's he got, Colt? And I'm like, Colt, man, this is pretty cool.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Oh, God, it's coming to me.
Yeah.
So I know for, like, the Masters, there's certain,
Guidelines.
guidelines.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Trent, on what you're supposed to say. And for the PGA Championship, is there, like, a one-pager that you get at all about what you guys are supposed to say or
No.
what you're supposed to reference?
No, I just think because this tournament or this championship moves around so much,
Mm-hmm.
that no, it's pretty laid back. We get to be pretty, just call it like we normally would around here. I think they are okay with me showing a little bit more of my personality here as compared to the Masters, which I get. Masters is tradition unlike any other.
Dude, is it awesome calling the Masters from your compound, from your
It is, yeah.
content
It's-
compound? What is it called?
it's
Content
Content.
Center?
Content
Content
center.
Center.
No, it is awesome, and so many. I mean, you're talking 6 to 10 million people at any given moment, like watching that early morning coverage, which is a lot. It's a tough week to be
Is
on
that
social
right?
media.
That would make me
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
so many people.
yeah, but look, as I joke all the time, like, I'm not talking about fitness, I'm talking about golf. Like, I know what I'm talking about, and I know how to call it.
I heard you've been doing some fitness. You've been in the gym quite a bit.
Well, when
right?
I'm home, I have been.
Yeah,
And
road's
it's
impossible.
It's tough. You know, you go out at night, you don't really want to get up early.
Yeah. No,
and
of course
then you have to be
not.
at the golf course. I'm like, I'll just stretch.
I'll
stretch a little
There you go. That's not
But
nothing.
yeah, it's awesome calling it. And like, with social media, how brutal people are. And
Oh,
that
yeah.
week,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these people they watch one tournament a year. It's the Masters, and they think they're experts on TV coverage.
Just because there's no golf, it's
but-
like this guy won the U.S. Amateur.
Let me tell you one thing. It's featured group coverage. So we follow 2 groups at a time, and the amount of people that are like, you are so fucking lame. Show another group. I'm like, it's featured groups. We are assigned.
you guys are so
these
biased.
2
of
groups.
only
Yeah.
showing Rory's
Why
shot.
can't you show anyone else? I'm like,
You
well,
clicked on this. You're here.
Yeah, look at the description of the channel.
You're here now.
We only have cameras for this group. I don't know what to tell you.
There's,
Oh.
that's definitely the most I hit the block button all year long.
Are you block people?
Yeah, because
I mute people.
you mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to fire back because I get bored and it was fun. Like, they don't hurt
Yeah.
my feelings. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care. And then
Well,
now
that
that I work for a network, it's like,
It's a little different.
maybe we tone this down a little bit.
Twitter seems to be getting worse, I think.
I think it is getting worse. I think everybody's a keyboard warrior on Twitter. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Everybody's the pro on Twitter, right?
Unfortunate.
You get it as bad as anybody, and we've talked about this. Like,
Yeah.
all the rude things they say. Has anyone ever come up to you at a bar, at a golf course, and said anything close to that?
No, never.
Exactly.
No.
No, and I would say in like 10 years, this is my 10th year of doing this, I would say there's been less than 5 times out of 10,000 interactions where someone said something negative, and all 5 of them were at like the President's Cup in Canada where a Canadian fan was like chirping me. Being like, your swing
see, at
sucks, Rick, because
yeah.
he was like Canadian.
He's Canadian.
Yeah,
That's
right.
different. Let me read this one I got to you yesterday.
Okay.
From, this is great. It's about me and Sleaze, who I do the shows with.
Okay.
So it was a DM. I'm not going to say the guy's name, but he says, can you and Drew stop sucking your teeth before every sentence? Miss you two sound like a bunch of idiot surfer boys. It's got to be one of the most obnoxious sounds on the radio. So, first of all, he couldn't even type. It didn't make sense. This is 12:16 p.m. So we're talking afternoon, okay?
Uh-huh.
I said, what the hell are you talking about? I actually responded just to see what he would say. He goes, oh, man, I'm sorry. This is what happens when you have transfusions at Selwyn Pub after a round of golf. He goes, I love you guys. Also, I'm a member at a course down the road if y'all would like to come
Course,
play.
yeah.
I was like,
Every
oh,
time.
wow, how this just changed.
I will say the only times I've ever
Every
gotten
time.
chirped, like, and it's only happened like 2 or 3 times, every time the person is drunk.
Yeah.
It's a drunk person.
Yeah.
This, once again, 12:16 p.m. They got started a little
He's
early.
getting
Bro,
after
you
it
need to
real
get
early.
your
that
shit
day.
Hey, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning
I
for those
know
No one
guys.
hates
You know?
on Trent. Everybody loves Trent.
No, that's not true. I mean, I get it. Everybody gets it. Everybody's got a percentage of it. Like you were saying, some people get it more than others, but
Yeah.
like it's still there for everybody.
Yeah.
Just
And
is what it is.
It sucks, and that's why it's just like, I've been talked to several times about it. Just let's let it go.
No, it's hard to bite your lip,
Yeah.
digitally for sure.
But
I mean,
more-
you get,
Yeah. More importantly, I want to know about this $25,000 match. Is this happening?
yeah.
So the guy's like, what? He's in.
Well, dude, he's in. We're going back and forth. Of course, he's
God.
doing the thing where he's like, this drives me nuts. But he's, we offered up because we're busy. He's busy. Streams every day. We offered up. I sent Jonesy right away. I was like, here's like 3 different brackets of dates that I could make work, and here's where I'm gonna be. So like, let's try to schedule something, whatever. And it was like I'm gonna be in Arizona for these 3 days. It's like next week. And, of course, the guy's response was like, well, I really haven't played golf in Arizona before, so I'm not sure how at that elevation the ball's going to change. And I want to strangle this person and be like, do you realize that every time we play on camera, we don't go 2 days early and, like, test out the balls and make sure we're playing well. So everything that you're commenting on about this handicap or that is based on what you're saying right now you're not willing to do. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like golf. You show up and you play. This has got to happen.
I mean, it's got to happen. I want to see both of you two. Because, listen, $25,000, it's a lot of money. It ain't going to kill you if you lose. But I'm guessing you haven't played for that kind of money before.
No. You know, like the most money I've ever played for is obviously with Omar at the club.
Yeah.
Who's, but it's not anywhere close.
You got to tee off early to finish before dark.
Yeah, Slowmar. Call him Slowmar. But it's not anywhere near that number, no.
Yeah.
But I will say, we've done enough of these hater matches now that you sort of learn based on the handicap system. Like, if someone's that I'll just say I feel pretty confident going in. Like, he's a 7-point-something that, like, I think statistically I like my chances. So we'll see. Anything can happen when you get out there. You get nervous, but I can't wait.
I'll tell you that. I will watch.
We were talking about trying to do it live because there's so much interest in it.
Okay.
I know. Trying to put it on live.
You need a broadcaster. I know a guy.
we might have a little extra cash too. So yeah, we're definitely gonna do it.
That's
but
good.
Colt knows I've been grinding all winter on the range.
It's unbelievable. Like, I go to Whisper Rock 3 days a week probably, and sometimes after our SiriusXM show, I'll pop out there. Riggs is on the range every single day. I'll be coming off 9 on the lower course, and there's Riggs on the back of the range grinding.
Yeah.
I put in a lot of time especially this spring, like late winter, early spring. I put in a lot of days where it's like people, whatever, I see you guys, like, oh, you're going to have a drink and play with us? I'm like, nope, I'm going to the back of the range. I'm going to hit balls and just trying to get better. Last time I was on the back of the range, we and Demon were over watching Colt hit balls, and you were striping it that day.
Been pretty good lately.
Oh, man. It was insane. You had did you have the foresight out?
Yeah, or something like that.
You had like the quad or the foresight, and he was hitting. You were carrying your driver like 275. Remember that?
Yeah.
You were piping it.
Body by Carson. My man Carson Kemp back home, Scottsdale.
Is that where you guys go? Is that the?
He's yeah. It's actually the guy Joel used to work with. Joel doesn't show up anymore, but he's there. But Ches Reavy introduced me to him because my shoulder was all jacked up. I literally couldn't play golf, and so I went and saw him, and he helped me fix my shoulder. And he's like, "Dude, when you're home, you ain't got nothing to do." He's like, "Come in." I'm like, "All right, fine."
Yeah.
So it gives me something to do when I'm home. Go at 7, and then we're on air at 9 for our SiriusXM. So.
Golf Galaxy is the place we trust with our golf game. It's our go-to place to gear up for the golf season on everything from equipment, apparel, golf shoes, and services to dial in our games. I remember long before we got into this little shindig that we do now.
Yeah.
There was a big Golf Galaxy in Brentwood, Missouri, and we would play a little Brentwood Hockey League, the BHL. And then before we would go to our BHL games, my dad would swing by Golf Galaxy.
Yeah.
He and I would go in there and just check stuff out, you know? One of the great experiences in the world, really.
It's a great place to just wander around. You don't know what you need until you're there. And they've got everything. Like you said, they got equipment, they got apparel. A lot of them have hitting bays. You can go in there and get fit. Like, they've just got everything there. Just go in there if there's one nearby you, which I guarantee that there is. Go in there, wander around, and I guarantee you will find something that you want/need.
It's just fun to be there. It says right here on the copy. Yeah. They got state-of-the-art hitting bays with TrackMan. They do custom fittings and golf lessons from PGA professionals.
Right, just like myself.
Shout out to Beef.
Pretty much Beef does that at the Chicago office, and people probably don't realize they do that at Golf Galaxy. There's a reason why Golf Galaxy is the exclusive retailer of the Skills Barstool collection, because we trust them to get our games right and to get your games right. Golf Galaxy always has the newest and best selection of golf apparel and footwear. Golf Galaxy has an amazing suite of services in-store, including 24-hour club re-gripping. If you're strapped for time, you can buy online and pick up in-store. And for most purchases, you can even get things delivered the same day to your house, making it even easier to get ready for your next round. Go to your local Golf Galaxy to check out all the best golf products or shop online at golfgalaxy.com. You know, when you finally get to the back nine, you think all hope is lost, and then over the horizon, the drink cart rolls up, and suddenly you are back in the game. Well, that's what it's like having Magenta Status with T-Mobile. T-Mobile shows up when you need them, wherever you need them, with perks and benefits just for being a T-Mobile member. Magenta Status gets you 15% off all Hilton brands and a free upgrade to Hilton Honors Silver. Do you know how many Hiltons there are? A lot. You could basically go anywhere, and T-Mobile will hook you up with a place to stay. I love hotels, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
I live for hotels. Just going into any city, staying in a nice hotel, and the fact that, a little perk from T-Mobile is going to get you access, going to get you an upgrade. It's going to get you 15% off for Hilton. My friend Brandel Chambly, by the way, recently told me a little travel hack. He said whenever he goes to a new city, he said he just looks up whatever the nicest hotel in the city is, and then just goes to that hotel bar.
Oh, wow. That is such a Brandel Chambly move. I've never heard a more Brandel Chambly move than that.
And he said it's great because every place that's going to be the nicest hotel in town is going to have a great bar.
Well, he's 100% right. I'm not saying he's wrong, but that's the most Brandel Chambly thing I've ever heard in my life.
A little hack for you guys.
We stay at Hilton's all the time. I feel like we're at a Hilton right now.
Yeah,
so it's
nice.
like, use the Magenta Status, get an upgrade. It's a nice way to be.
And make sure you swing by Club Magenta. It's at the 10th hole here at the PGA Championship. So if you're a T-Mobile member, you're at the PGA, you can swing by. You and 2 guests can get prime-time access to the one and only Club Magenta located here on the 10th green. There's charging stations for your phone, premium giveaways, cool guests, AR putting, a full bar, which is awesome. With T-Mobile, you don't ever have to settle for par. Tee up your exclusive Magenta Status benefits from T-Mobile at T-Mobile.com/benefits. So obviously you're on CBS coverage, and then you and Sleaze, Subpar, is for anybody listening. That's actually a golf podcast where they talk.
That's a real one.
They really talk golf.
That's a real
on
golf
that
podcast.
show, like relentlessly. Interview. You guys do a show a week.
One a week with Subpar.
Who's the most recent guest?
So we filmed yesterday with Kyle Busch, NASCAR.
That's
driver.
right. We're in Charlotte.
We actually had Derek Anderson on a couple weeks ago, former NFL quarterback, but he caddied for Kevin Chappell at the Zurich, and they played with Rory and Shane the first 2 days.
Oh,
so
you said Derek Anderson. I was like, you talking about the NFL player?
So he's in Scottsdale. But, he was on the bag for Chappie, who gets in as an alternate, and then they get paired with Rory and Shane.
That's awesome.
And he had some great stories of obviously being nervous. He clapped for Rory on the first tee as a caddy,
How can you not?
which is great. Got in Rory's way a couple of times, but he had some great stories. It's funny. His phone went off on Saturday because they do the walkout songs there, and so they were trying to figure out what to play, and somehow like his Spotify popped open in the bag and the song started playing like on the golf course. But
oh my God.
he had some good stories. But
I love DA just clapping for Rory.
Yeah.
Wow, what a shot.
yeah, he's like,
He's the
oh,
caddy.
that's embarrassing. I'm the caddy. Can't do that.
Caddy for one of his opponents.
But yeah, we had George Brett on again recently, which George, he's just. We've had him on a couple of times. He's
My
all
dad
time.
calls him a pistol. My dad met him just the one time at the father-son. He goes, what a pistol that guy is.
He's the greatest.
He is the greatest.
Unbelievable storyteller and just the nicest guy on the planet.
So Subpar, make sure you subscribe, and then you guys are serious. What days do you guys do this?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 12 to 2 Eastern on PGA Tour
Gravy
Radio.
and the
92.
Sleaze.
Gravy and the Sleaze.
Right.
We had a funny story. So I was doing last week Philly cricket at the Truist. We do it. I was at the golf course doing it on the par 3 during the Pro-Am. So we grab guys when they go through, sit down for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry, the NBA player, plays for the 76ers.
Yeah.
Playing, big golfer, sits down, and he's like, what's up? And introduced myself. I was like, and we're on Zoom. I was like, that's my buddy. That's Sleaze. He goes, a grown-ass man named Sleaze? He's like, I don't like that. So that's how they met. It was great.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's absolutely perfect. Who do you like this week, Colt Knost? That's what we'll kind of conclude with. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's tough to go against Rory. I said at the start of the year, we did our whole prediction. I said Rory's going to win 2 majors this year. I said here in Portrush. Obviously picked one off early, but yeah, everything is going his way with it being wet, his success around here. But that being said, the whole general public is going to be on him, which they normally don't win. So, but I still like him.
I'm on him.
I am too. I tweeted it out today that I was really, for whatever reason, ever since the Masters, when I saw him at Zurich, when I saw him last week, I was like, I don't know if he looks, and again, I'm not the sharpest eye, but I was like, I don't know that he's like just sharp. I kind of was starting to fall into what Frankie's theory of like maybe he's not as driven now because he's sort of like had the release, and I'm just not sure he's quite going to do it. Dude, I watched his presser this morning, and he still had a little bit of that fuck you in him, and the biggest one was they asked him, there's some guy in there that keeps asking everybody. It's the dumbest question in the world. I hate this question. But this guy, and no offense to the guy, I mean, I've never asked a question in that setting ever because I don't have a good one, but he always asks, he's like, if you could trade one of your key characteristics of your game with anyone else out there's game, what would it be and which player? So like driving, irons, short game, putting, whatever. And, most people in the field are like, I would trade driving with Rory. Rory's like the best driver of the golf ball in the world. And again, the reason I think it's the dumbest question in the world is like there's just a very objective mathematical answer to that, which is like I would just take whatever I'm the worst stroke skating at and change it with the person who's number one stroke. Anyways, And Rory refused to answer it. Rory goes, none of them. Like, I actually really like my full game right now. And the guy's like, no, like if you're forced to. And Rory goes, I'm not forced to.
Oh,
I'm
God.
forced to.
Oh, dude.
Like, if I was that guy, I would have felt this big. Like,
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
And the guy gave like this nervous kind of laugh and then gave another effort
Yeah.
being like, okay, so like, and then Rory goes, I'm just going to,
He said if you had to.
he goes, I'm just focusing on my game
Yeah.
this week.
We like that, though, because we both bet on him. And we like when he Sawgrass, he shit on YouTube Golf, which we were fired up about.
Fantastic.
He stole a person's phone, and people were chirping him about that. Whenever he's got a little bit of an edge, he sometimes wins.
Well, some people are going to say, oh, yeah, he's satisfied now or whatever, which he said he's achieved everything he wanted. But
yeah.
listen, this is his baby right here, Quail Hollow. I mean, this is his golf. He's a member here. He flew home from Philly because he knew the weather was going to be bad to practice before coming back here last night. He's invested.
God, I love that.
Yes.
I feel the same way. I'm on him hard. I love Rory. I can't help it. I just like, and it's talking about social media earlier and like haters and all that. I was just say like when I get all kinds of shit when you do, when anybody does, I always laugh. I'm like, dude, Rory McIlroy gets hate on the internet, and he is like worth $1 billion. He's transformed into this like handsome cat. He's the fucking Grand Slam winner. He's got great family. He's got a daughter with a great name. Like everything's perfect about him, and people are shitting on this guy. And you're like, how is that possible?
Dude, I mean, Jim Nantz isn't on social media, but the amount of people that shit on Jim Nantz, I'm like, are you
He's
kidding
perfect.
me?
That's
The golden
insane.
voice, the nice. It's social media. That's what, like Beef said. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely getting worse, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Really
All right, so you
is.
picked your favorite now for the field. What about team of 20 PGA pros like myself that are in the field here? Who's your team of 20 low finisher this week?
So I actually know a few of the guys in the field.
That's
actually,
amazing. I was worried you were going to be like,
No, I played with a few of them because they were former professional golfers. Or actually,
Yeah.
Bobby Gates is
Okay.
in the field. One of my favorite people I've ever played with in my life is Tom Johnson, who is qualified this week. So I'm rooting for Tom Johnson. I'm so
Okay.
pumped for him. I haven't seen him yet this week. But yeah, give me Tom Johnson.
Tom Johnson.
Beef, who was the guy that won by like 17 in the tournament to get in?
Tyler Collette.
Yeah.
God.
He won the
Yeah.
PPC.
That's-
Professional championship, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of pressure, by the way, how about the playoff to
Oh,
just get here?
It was like a 5-for-1 or something.
God. No, thank you.
That was unbelievable. There was one guy who was like 65.
Yeah, and that would have been an awesome story, but he might have shot 100 around here. I mean, I don't know if he could get to any of the holes
True.
in regulation. I mean, that would have been tough, but
True.
it's awesome what they do. And
Yeah.
I mean, what Michael Block did a couple years ago.
Awesome.
The place was
P15 for it.
buzzing.
And
I
makes a
know.
hole in one.
Yeah.
Figures out he's playing with Rory the last day, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the
And
more-
makes a hole in one with
The more
Rory.
that they keep showing that clip around each PGA, that might be the craziest thing that's ever happened. That hole in one. Like, his first hole in one ever in competition, he had the hilarious clip from the night before about, you serious?
You
He was
serious?
playing with Rory. And then to have the hole in one, the first person you hear afterwards is Rory laughing, being like, what the fuck is happening? And then he ends up getting in the top 15 by one with
Yeah.
the up and down on 18. So
Yeah.
he had to have the ace.
I was with Bryson's group at Oak Hill on 13 that day,
Yeah.
standing there on the par 5. You hear this just ridiculous roar.
Yeah.
And Bryson looks at me and goes, what just happened? I go, you don't even want to know. And he's like, I was like, Michael Block just made a hole in one. He's like, no way. Like, are you serious? You can't make this up.
Right.
Like, have the most ridiculous week of all time. And then Sellers and Mary's like, go to Michael Block, finish him the last few holes, see if he can get in.
Yeah.
And coming up 18, I mean, Rory McIlroy like walked ahead and no one was paying attention to him and let Michael Block have this walk up 18.
Oh.
And it was,
So it was the
All
block party,
class.
is what it was, right?
All
was nuts.
class from Rory.
It was
All
cool.
class.
All class. That's our horse. That's
our
our
guy.
guy,
Yep.
Mr. McElroy.
Yes, sir.
All right, Colt Knost. Well, make sure you check him out. You're all over the place. You're a busy guy.
yeah, I'll probably park your car at some point at dinner tonight, but whatever.
He's on, again, Subpar. Make sure you subscribe. Check them out. Actual Golf Podcast. They do a lot of golf talk on there. He's on Sirius XM all the time. He'll be all over the CBS coverage this weekend. Let's go, Rory. Let's have a great week.
You got it. Thanks for
you.
having me, guys.
You're the
Always
man.
fun.
Colt.
You're the man.
Is there anything better than sinking a 40-foot putt on the 18th hole to shoot a nice birdie when all eyes are on you? Well, there is. And what's better is having Magenta Status with T-Mobile, because even if you're never actually sunk a 40-foot putt, let's say that was just a fantasy I described right there.
Theoretical.
A theoretical fantasy right there. It's never really happened to you. What is Magenta Status? I'm going to tell you what. It's not the status quo. Magenta Status gives you perks and benefits like access to the best streaming entertainment in wireless, including Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV Plus, and more. By the way, Apple TV is phenomenal.
I really want to start Your Friends and Neighbors.
You have to.
I
John
know.
Hamm is phenomenal.
I've just been hearing everything about it, and it seems like a pretty easy watch, a fun watch.
Yeah, it's not scary.
Right.
You know,
That's my
it's
thing.
not gory.
I can't have scary.
No.
There's a scary show out there right now, The Last of Us, that I gave up on because I couldn't be scared every week.
Also, it's just a great kind of commentary on like the BS of like life and like relationship, friendship. It's like, it's great.
It's something I really got to start, and Magenta Status, I'll be able to stream it.
Are you watching Your Friends and Neighbors yet, Beef?
I'm not a big TV show guy, but I love streaming sports.
Yep.
And I love streaming the news. I'm one of those type of guys.
You're all
and
sports,
news.
baby. You're
I'm all
simple guy.
sports. I'm all news. I'm not really a big TV show guy, but
That's okay.
Magenta has me covered.
Also, shout out to all the T-Mobile members at the PGA Championship. If you don't know this, you and two guests can get exclusive access to Club Magenta. It's on the 10th green. Get right up in the action with the best views, best seats. We just watched Bryson come through. Beef was watching him. He's telling us about the different shots that he's hitting because we are right here at Club Magenta off the 10th green. They got AR putting, cool giveaways, phone charging stations, surprise guest appearances, and a full bar, which is awesome.
Yep.
You get all this just for being a T-Mobile member, so pack it up and get over to the 10th green. We'll see you there. We're going to be there today when the show comes out. With all these perks and benefits, having Magenta Status with T-Mobile is a gimme. Tee up your exclusive Magenta Status benefits from T-Mobile at T-Mobile.com/benefits. Everybody, welcome to Club Magenta. This is our second year coming to this spot. Obviously, T-Mobile does a great job putting on a fun little venue here. See kids all over the place, fans enjoying the tournament, you guys interacting with them. Does this kind of bring you guys back a little bit to when you fell in love with the game? You guys were kind of kids getting into it and going to tournaments?
I never came to this cool of a hospitality tent. I was usually out there watching the guys grind. But this is awesome. You know, as a kid looking up to the players and just seeing them in person really inspired me. And so it's fun to see all the kids here.
Yeah, same. I never got to go inside at a golf tournament. We were just crawling around trying to get a good view of the pros. So I think to what Dub said, anytime you come out to an event and obviously work really hard, we take it really seriously, then all of a sudden you look around, there's a bunch of kids hanging around. It puts a lot of things in perspective, how far the game can take you. And obviously we're very thankful to get to play inside the ropes and hopefully get to meet somebody who's going to end up doing that later in their life.
Hell yeah. Well, both of you guys have had a bunch of success here. You guys both won your first tour events here. Max, I believe you went 4-0-0 here. When the President's Cup was here. Pretty impressive. I remember being here. A lot of USA fans were getting fired up. Your fist pumping. It was great. Now major championships coming here. What kind of game are you going to need to bring? What aspects of the game are you going to need to bring to play well this week?
Yeah, this course is it's big. So I feel like length is a big part of it. If you drive it really well, it's not a necessity, but the second shots are so difficult. The greens are kind of intricate for being a big golf course that the second shots from the fairways are hard. So from the rough, it's very hard. So I do feel like you got to start it in the fairway. But in general, if you leave it in the good spots here, the greens are in really good shape. You can hole a lot of putts. And I watched Dub do that when he won here, shot a million under. So you can get it going out here. But I do think that to make the second shots easier, you should be from the short grass. So that's always step one.
Wyndham, you're kind of, when you really let it go, people remember from the U.S. Open victory, you can really move it out there. We played a video with you where we were laughing at how far you're hitting even your 3-wood driver. Distance is going to be kind of an advantage. Everybody's talking about it this week. You're going to try to use distance to your advantage out there?
Yes, it's very rare that I really let it go, but this golf course on a few holes you can. So yeah, there might be some 190 ball speeds this week, and
a couple lines over some trees. We've seen
yeah.
that,
Well, unfortunately, they've kind of taken away those lines for me. So when I won here in 23, there's a few tee shots that I could take over trees, and they moved the box back about 20, 30 yards, and I have to go right of them or left of them.
Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah, it's unfair.
I hate to see that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're here at T-Mobile, who's been just a great partner with golf, with the PGA Championship. You got T-Mobile on your hat. I know Mac's been working with them for a couple of years, so have we. Phone's important for everybody. You can't go anywhere without thinking about your phone. What's your guys' relationship like with your phone on a major championship week? Do you trying to tune out? Are you plugged in? What's your relationship like with the phone?
Yeah, definitely more on the tuning out part. What people don't think about is you have a lot of friends that might be in that area saying, hey, can I get tickets? Want to do dinner? Distracting you. Social media, people talking good or bad about you. You want to get off of that. And so I'm kind of trying to stay off the radar a little bit. I mainly look at kind of my team and the people that are closest to me to make sure that obviously we're communicating right. But outside of that, I get back, we'll play games, we'll watch TV, read books. We'll try to get away from the phone a little bit.
Max?
Yeah, very similar. We were just talking about it. I'm mostly, if I'm on my phone, I'm typically texting my coach or caddy, my wife, or playing some kind of New York Times like crossword game. So that's my relationship with my phone in a major week, because exactly what Deb said, you get a lot of people texting you, random people telling you good luck that you haven't talked to since probably the last PGA Championship.
Just a random somebody sitting around like, you know what, I bet Max did good luck for me.
So yeah, it's not as much texting and whatnot. Definitely no social media. Just trying to almost zone out when you're off the golf course, and then when you're here, tuck the phone away a little bit.
Do you guys have any idea? A couple little, in T-Mobile fashion, want to learn more about your relationship with the phone. How many unread text messages do you currently think you have?
I'm at 0. I can't live a life.
You're OCD about that?
I can't.
I got a lot. I don't even want to say it. It's so many. It's 1,100.
Oh man,
that's bad.
You think a lot of those are like congrats texts from years ago?
100%. And then I was too lazy, so I just kept them in there. My data plan. Fortunately, I get it for free. Otherwise, it'd be bad.
Do you prefer text, call, or FaceTime?
FaceTime, family, and like close friends, and then text.
Yeah, I FaceTime all of 2 people, and I'll text pretty much everybody else. Don't love the phone calls, so mostly just text.
I've never been a big FaceTime guy. I always feel like it's awkward.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes
you're looking at like yourself more than you're looking at the other person. Like, do I look ridiculous? Most used emoji.
I'm crying laughing face. Either at my own jokes or other people's.
Just a generous crying laughing emoji guy.
I give it a lot of thumbs up. I just look.
So you're a mean texter. You don't text anybody back, and then you just give them this.
Yeah.
Most famous person in your contacts list.
Wyndham Clark. Beat you to it.
Wow, dang. Not Max Homa. Marky Mark. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's pretty baller.
Yeah, he's
last one on the T-Mobile rapid fire. First person you call or text after a round of golf.
It depends actually how I play. Bad, my coach. Good, my wife.
Usually always my girlfriend.
Safe answers.
Regardless.
Safe answers.
Yeah, safe.
Boys, this week there's been a ton of rain. I know it's been kind of hard to get out there. Luckily, this is a course, again, you guys have had success at, but does this change your preparation? Where are you guys at with your preparations? Wednesday afternoon, how are we feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get any golf in Monday. We were trying to do a couple different things, and honestly, I got to 3 p.m., and I just told my caddy, I was like, you know what, let's just take a day off, caddy holiday. You know, I could win the gym and did some other stuff, but I didn't practice. And then yesterday, I was supposed to get in more holes and only got in 7 because of that storm that came in. So I maybe haven't had as much prep as normal, but I think that could be a good thing for me.
How are you feeling, Max?
Yeah, I played a total 18 holes, but I wasn't real psycho on seeing every little golf shot. I think we're lucky in that we come here every year. But yeah, I mean, it just feels like a normal week of prep, I guess. Spent, I guess, a little more time just on like getting numbers with wedges, just because of how soft it is, and thick rough like might end up playing a little bit. You know, when you get really firm greens, in my opinion, like the short irons are important, but it's more artistry, less just like we call it trackman golf.
Yeah.
So instead of been prepping a little bit more like trackman golf, ball's not gonna. Greens are actually decently firm for how much rain we've gotten, but I still feel like that's where my focus has been. Less on the golf course, more on the numbers.
So I was watching a little bit this morning. They had the superintendent was out there, and he was kind of talking about they haven't been able to mow yet really throughout the week because there's been so much rain. I know the course, tends to change just from hearing all you guys' interviews, the way the ball interacts pretty dramatically from Monday, Tuesday to tournament time. I kind of get the feeling it might be more dramatic than usual this time because there's been so much rain, yet Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday looks pretty good. Is it hard to adjust when you get out there Thursday that you've hit these practice round shots, soaking wet, and then they're really trying to ramp it up for tournament time? Does it take a couple holes sometimes, or might it tomorrow, to kind of see how the course is different than it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
I mean, honestly, I don't see how they could possibly get the tee to green part any different. I mean, it is so wet out there, so that part's going to stay the same. The only thing that might shock us a little bit is how firm they can get these greens and how fast. it's not very fast right now with all the rain. They've kind of probably done minimal cuts and whatnot.
And they've got the sub-air, so they could kind of control it.
Yeah, but it's amazing what a place like this can do. Come Saturday, Sunday, the ball might be bouncing and it could start to play a little firmer, but the chance of that is probably pretty low. But typically, it's amazing. Most people don't realize, like they look on TV and the courses are usually really green. And this course obviously is very green right now, but if there wasn't rain come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this course would start to brown up and the greens would be yellow because they'd be so firm. So a golf course changes drastically in a week usually.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I know it's Wednesday afternoon. It's already been kind of a short week when it comes to preparing for the tournament. So big round of applause for these two T-Mobile athletes here at Club Magenta, taking the time, mixing it up with the fans and doing a little Q&A. So good luck this week, boys.
Thanks, Riggs.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.